Social and political commentary from a Christian.
Hey, grace and peace, everybody. Let's get started. Let's get at it. Let's get going. Shout out to Ground News. And this is an excellent news source if you're looking for information and such like that from different sources and wanting to see how different outlets or different political leanings are approaching the same topic. So I'm learning how to use it better. So, give me a little bit of grace. But I think this is kind of cool because you can see here down here, you can see whether or not how the right, the middle, or what we call independent, and of course how the right are addressing this a particular topic. So we see here, let's kind of zoom in a little bit. We can see here that this topic that we're about to talk about right here, really the right is only talking about it uh, like 76% of the right, only 12% of the left, and 12% of what's considered the middle are discussing this topic. What is the topic, Jason? Thanks for asking. Trump proposes National Center for Homeless Veterans, redirecting funds from migrant housing programs. This is pretty big. Prayerfully, it'll work. Prayerfully, be something that's long lasting and beneficial. But let's go ahead and get into it again. Shout out to Ground News for helping me with this. Trump redirects illegal immigrant housing funds to launch National Center for Homeless Veterans. President Donald Trump announced on Friday, revealed plans on Friday to create a national center for warrior independence at the West Los Angeles VA campus. This new initiative is aimed at offering critical support and housing for homeless veterans. Trump also directed that money originally set aside for services and housing for illegal immigrants be reallocated to help American veterans. Instead, the White House said the goal is to house up to 6,000 homeless veterans to the center, I'm sorry, at the center by 2028. Okay, that's pretty reasonable. So we're talking about 3 years, about 2,000 a year. I like it. During my first term, I signed legislation to increase accountability and expand the benefits and choices for veterans in accessing care. In my second term, I will build on those efforts, Trump said in a statement. The VA campus in West Los Angeles will become a national center for warrior independence with with facilities and resources to help our veterans earn back their self sufficiency. I think that title is kind of interesting, Warrior Independence. But hey, shout out to them. This is a great thing. Los Angeles is home to about 3,000 homeless veterans, representing roughly 10% of the nation's entire homeless veteran population. Why do we have a homeless veteran population? Man, that's sad. Oh, and I really hope that something good comes out of this. The highest number in any city in the United States. Man, Trump's order insists that veterans are essential to America's safety and freedom, yet many face homelessness and lasting injuries. The president's order criticizes past government failures in supporting veterans, particularly under the previous administration, accusing it of neglect and mismanagement. The order also notes that West Los Angeles VA Medical Center was originally donated to house disabled veterans, once serving thousands with extensive facilities. However, over the years, the federal government has let it fall into disrepair, reflecting a broader failure to properly care for vets. The new Center for Warrior Independence will help them and other vets like them rebuild their lives, the White House said in a statement. The center will promote self sufficiency through housing, substance abuse treatment, and support for productive work for the veterans housed there. Okay. In order, the order will direct HUD to use housing vouchers for homeless veterans and task the VA with restoring accountability, including disciplining those involved in misconduct and review Biden era decisions to rehire and compensate previously dismissed employees. It will also guarantee veterans more access to care, benefits, and services, including shorter wait times for the VA appointments by offering expanded hours, weekend availability, and more virtual health care options. Okay, shout out. That's pretty cool. Prayerfully it comes together. Let's just see real quick. This is really only being reported by just a few outlets. So let's see what they say over here. Again, the little ground news has like a little bias meter at the top. Let me get out of the way. So ground news is like a little bias meter right here. So this is like a more right-leaning article. Looks like most of the right is reporting on it, not a lot of the left. That's kind of cool. All right. I'm just going to scan through this very quickly with y'all. So Trump launches veteran homelessness initiative with new national center. All right. The center will promote self-sufficiency through housing, substance abuse treatments, and support for productive work for the veterans housed there. The fact sheet says the goal is to house up to 6,000 homeless in, in the center by 2028. In another executive order signed Friday, Mr. Trump directed federal agencies to reduce the number of regulations Americans could be prosecuted for unintentionally, saying only those who willfully run afoul of the regulations should face consequences. Interesting. Okay, wait. In the order of the fact sheet, Mr. Trump said every day Americans are transformed into criminals for violating regulations they have no reason to know exist. He ordered Attorney General Pam Bondi to come up with lists of regulations that Americans could unwillingly violate and wind up in hot water. Despite the arcane nature of the laws, voluntary violations can bring down a full weight of Justice Department or other agencies to enforce and prosecute. Really, the situation is absurd, unjust, and ripe for abuse, enabling the government officials to target unwitting individuals and weaponize regulations against them. The fact sheet says the order redirects agencies to explore guilty intent standard for criminal regulatory offenses, meaning that an individual cannot be convicted unless they knowingly violate a rule. Over the past decade, lawmakers have attempted to move forward bills that would establish the only willful violations of the offenses would be required to prosecute unless otherwise specified. However, none of these bills ever advance. In a memorandum signed Friday, the Trump administration is focusing on water pressure and efficiency rules once again and expanding an executive order last month that aimed to make America's showers great again. Okay, well, shout out to that. The action expands on the previous executive order that calls for the Energy Secretary Chris Wright to review and rescind any rules that limit how much water can be used in shower heads, faucets, dishwashers, toilets, urinals, and washing machines. Water conservation requirements for faucets, showers, bathtubs, and toilets make bathroom appliances more expensive and less functional. The memorandum fact sheet says efficiency standards render other American appliances like clothes washers and dishwashers less useful, more breakable, and more expensive to repair. It also calls for Office of Legislative Affairs to recommend repealing the Energy Policy Act of 1992, signed by former President George H.W. Bush to Congress. The law aimed to reduce dependence on energy imports, boost renewable energy production, and improve energy efficient buildings. In another memorandum, the president is protecting the Great Lakes from invasive carp by calling for his administration to expeditiously implement the most effective mechanisms, barriers, and other measures to prevent the migration and expansion of invasive carp in the Great Lakes Basin and the surrounding region. It calls for construction of the Brandon Road Interbasin Protection Project of Illinois, which is a fact sheet of the order says will provide multiple layers of innovative technological deterrents designed to prevent evasive carp from reaching the Great Lakes. This is wild. The administration says the project was delayed in Illinois by Governor Pritzker, a Democrat. It gives the state a July 1st deadline to acquire necessary land to begin construction. The president also signed a proclamation establishing Project Homecoming program that encourages illegal immigrants to self-deport. All right, I'm gonna get done. I think that's almost the end of it. Let's go. It creates a streamlined process to departure using the CBP Home app, provides government funded flights at no cost to the illegal aliens, facilitates travel for those lacking valid travel documents. It offers a concierge service at airports to assist them in booking travel and claiming an exit bonus. The order fact sheet says, wow, those who choose to self-deport will also receive an exit bonus of $1,000. White House press secretary Carolyn Levitt said in a press briefing on Friday. Their plane tickets at home may be paid for, and they will receive $1,000 stipend once they have confirmation that they have left our country. Okay, I like that. This new feature will allow illegal immigrants or aliens to have planned departure out of the country and to leave as soon as possible in a dignified way. She said if they make the right decision here and submit their intent to depart through the CBP Home app that pass extensive vetting, they will temporarily deprioritize the ICE detention and enforcement action before their scheduled departure. Oh, okay. So they won't get picked up by ICE. I got you. She also said that these steps forward, it may improve the option to become a country legally in the future. All right. Shout out to that. So these are all the new executive orders that Trump has been pushing, and this is okay, pretty cool, nice stuff. Prayerfully, we'll see some improvements and such like that. Let me know what y'all think down below. This is just a quick summary of some of the things we hadn't been talking about on the channel. I want to hear what y'all think about it. So give me your comments down below. Feel free to comment, like, share, and subscribe. All that good stuff. Thank you so much for liking the channel and for becoming a subscriber. Until next time, everybody, grace and peace.